All right, it is 7 o'clock, friends. Let's stand for our Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have the roll call, please?
No. Terry Reed. Here. Ryan Hartley.
Here.
Ethan Maple.
Here.
Bill Niemeyer.
Here.
And Chad Melinder.
Here.
All right, we're all here. I'm looking at claims, looking for a motion to approve APVs number 27454 through 27517.
I make a motion to approve APVs 27454 through 27517 as presented in our backup material.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Chad, for making the motion and Bill for seconding it. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Looking for minutes, the adoption of town council minutes from February 5th, 2025. Anybody like a motion for that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for our meeting from February 5th as presented in our backup materials.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill, for making the motion. Ryan for seconding it. Any conversations related to the minutes?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
We, in the minutes, it talked about, find it?
That's okay. You're going to make me open my thing now.
Oh, here it is. Last time we had discussed allowing me to be the
Signature.
signator for Commonwealth. And on December 18th, we approved a resolution to recognize Terry Reed to be empowered to execute any and all paperwork associated with the project with Commonwealth.
What's your problem?
I just want you to know that I am really
Double.
You're wanting to let us know that we affirmed how good you are?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I would like to ask for a motion that we recommend that Terry Reed be the signature for Commonwealth material. Would anybody like to make that motion?
You made that motion.
We're going to make it every freaking meeting now.
All righty then.
All right. So do you want anything changed in our minutes?
I just want to point that out in case needed to delete it from something.
I don't need to delete anything.
Okay.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. You are doubly affirmed. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, the motion is that we approve the minutes from February 5th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. We also, at this point, have time in our meeting for public comments, limited to 3 minutes. Anything on the agenda. Seeing as how I don't see any random public here, I know all the public, and you have business. Then no one is jumping to the podium. Fair enough. Moving on to old business, which there is none. So we'll move to new business. And first on our new business is Shepherd Insurance. And so they are here to kind of share a little bit with us. I do want to highlight that you all received one of the policies in your backup material, but also the overview that Shepherd Insurance provided us. And so, Bill, do you have overview that you want to give us, or?
Pretty much the same one that you had.
Okay.
You guys wanted quotes, and we did that, went out, and I think that EMC is still, since you've been with them, and they covered you sometimes when things got rough, so I'd recommend you stay there.
Okay.
But there was a question whether you guys wanted to go to the $1,000 deductible or 2,000 on the vehicles. 2,000 saves you about 2,000, so you have to have a couple claims.
Yeah.
And then, have you all seen the grid? This with all the different counties. Quotes
Yeah,
we
we
got.
got that.
Yeah.
I sent it in a separate email.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a follow up on
Yeah.
Friday.
Do you all have it, or do you need a copy? Okay.
Yeah, we pretty much went to all the major markets that do this type of work. Well, I say we, actually Cheryl does all the work. I'm just a pretty face. But we went out and tried to, and sometimes it's kind of tough to get apples to apples, so we had to keep massaging things to get all the quotes together. I guess the only other question would be, other than the deductibles, is on the cyber liability. Currently, you have $1 million, and there is an optional quote for $2 million, but that would be up to
Okay.
you guys what you want to do.
Okay. So the kind of the grid and the way that they went out, and God, I appreciate the multiple bids that you got, really kind of seeing what the market has to offer us. We do need to make a decision tonight so that that does not overlap, or we do not lose coverage, because we're kind of at that point. So the recommendation is the EMC. A couple things that we need to think about is the auto deductible. So if it's a $2,000 auto deductible, the cost of the policy with workers' comp is $82,191. At the $1,000 auto deductible, the cost is $84,247,000. To give you kind of a comparison, our policy that is expiring was $74,502, but that also included our cyber insurance, which what I just said didn't. So, did anybody have an opinion on whether or not we should have a $2,000 or $1,000 auto deductible?
I'll share that even though it cost a little bit more, keeping it at $1,000 deductible, I think Mr. Bullender said that if you had 2 accidents,
Right.
it's a wash. And in our line of business, including the police officers coming and going, I'd hate to go to a $2,000 deductible banking that we'd only have one claim. So to me, this isn't a place to cut corners. There are places to try to save money. In my opinion, this isn't one of them. So I would recommend, it's just my personal opinion, I would keep with the $1,000 deductible.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Okay.
We just added another police officer too. Right?
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
just there's more people out there doing the right thing, but bad things can still happen.
And then the other kind of point for question is the cyber insurance to carry 1 million or 2 million. We currently carry 1 million. Any thoughts on that? I'm comfortable continuing with the 1 million.
I don't know what the advantage of getting the extra million would be,
A million.
other than the obvious.
At the size of the town is, I don't want to say one's enough, and then it's not. but you know, like for example, somebody gets in the computer system, you have to notify everybody that's like on the sewer bills and so forth. And
That'd be
it's
fun.
compromised, so.
I just looking at this for another customer back last week.
Perfect.
By state law, the town's liability, as I mentioned, is notification. And you're over 1,000 notifications, which the town would issue 1,800 customers. Then you're also obligated to notify consumer reporting agencies like TransUnion and Equifax. The other one, as well as the state's attorney general office. I strongly suggest to that now that they also consider, in their case, increasing their loss coverage a little bit in order to offer some form of identity protection and credit monitoring to their customers, which is the standard of care, not required by law, but it's pretty standard fare. And you event that there is an incident, that way they can make sure the customers know, hey, something happened, it sucks, here's what happened, and by the way, it's gonna be monitored for a year, just in case.
It's just good customer service.
Does that equate to $1 million or $2 million?
So we figured it at about $12 per month per subscriber. So you're looking at $44 per year times 2,000, give or take, if not a million. I don't know exactly what all that covers. Another extension of typical extension of cybersecurity insurance is fraud when it comes to loss prevention, and that would be if the account suffered a loss. Somebody got into a computer, to a bank account that allowed them to steal money.
What does our cyber cover? Do you know?
Well, it kind of, I don't know if we've got, do we have a sample policy here? Cheryl, I wish I had that sample policy. It would cover the things you're talking about. And it's also, you've got coverage for, but it's not the $1 million limit for fraud from the standpoint, say, Jenny accidentally wire transfers $100,000 to a bad guy.
Accidentally?
I'm just using you as an example.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
If it comes something like that, I'd have to go get the thing and go through the limits with you. And if you wanted to just stick with $1 million or $2 million, or I could, we could make another meeting and I could go through that in detail with you if you like. I just don't have that tonight.
I can send you over the policy that shows all the coverages. I mean, it's very extensive. They are a cyber-only carrier. They specialize in
What we're talking about just in the 144 per person, that's almost $300,000 right there. So that would leave us 700,000 left. If somebody did whatever is going to make us do that, they're probably taking more than 700,000. And we're talking about paying $900 more.
Well, and then you got situation of them destroying your system.
Replace the
Rebuild it.
equipment.
$900, that would make sense. Vaughn, what do you think? Okay.
She's all for it.
Thoughts? I'm okay with
I
$2
hate
million.
being overinsured, I get that, but like that, this is a
Depends
world
on the
that
right place.
yeah, this is a world that in today's world that's not somewhere I would scam.
Okay.
I recommend we do the 2 million.
So what we'd be looking at is our keeping with the EMC current carrier, IPEP for workers' comp, $1,000 auto deductible with 2 million cyber. That puts us at about 88.4. Is where it put
88,429.
fine. 88,420.
Specific.
He's very
About.
specific. All right. Then if that's, unless someone else has another suggestion, I'd be open to a motion.
Bill, is this what you're seeing? Kind of. I mean, this almost is a $8,000. I mean, really, to stay where we're at, it's $10,000 increase. Is that what you're seeing?
We're looking at a $14,000 increase.
Well, yeah.
We're also increasing our we've increased employees and we've increased vehicles.
Yeah.
And also they automatically increase the building values as well.
That was nice of them.
Well, I mean, it goes
Building
more
is
every year.
not
It goes up.
going
I
up.
think it'd be cheaper for this thing to get blown up. So, yeah.
But then you got liability.
Yeah, I know. Fine. All right. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to be a PLPD town.
Yeah.
With the good stuff.
I'm
Okay.
not sure on the reptile.
Oh boy, here we go. I'll make a motion to approve EMC current carrier with IPEP, 2 million cyber, and a $1,000 auto deductible for a total of $88,429.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Chad made a motion. Bill seconded it. Any other conversation?
Thank you for the
Thank you
information.
guys, we appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you making sure we have the best possible policies and giving us options. That's helpful. So all those in favor?
Oh, there you go.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Thank you, Bill.
So Cheryl will order the policy in the morning to make sure everything's.
Yeah, we
Thank you.
don't want to lose coverage.
No,
Yeah.
All right, thank you all very much. Next item is Commonwealth, and this was brought to us last week, but we asked them to kind of send it to us. Do you want to give us an overview of what you're looking at?
Of course. So I've got two task orders. The first one is for the RPR. So now that we have a construction timeline from Thieneman, we have to have our RPR match that timeline. So initially we had 12 months. Thieneman's given us a 16-month construction time. So the first one is a $0 change order to accommodate for that extra 4 months. I know that you guys had asked Al to look at what we could do from our end to assist on some of the costs. So Al went through. We looked at some of the funds that were already allotted for other things. So the first page, for instance, we're not doing the solar field anymore. We already pledged money for the solar field. And then with the value engineering that we went through, looking at those appropriated funds, we were able to get that to a $0 change order. So this would just extend Eric to be out there for 4 additional months. And that's what that one is. So that's number one. Number two is your labor standards. I have Mike Kleinpeter here with me with Kleinpeter Consulting. He's who the town has identified that you guys want to work with. He's been our labor standards person in a lot of the state, but Greenfield, I work with probably 7 different communities on labor standards. And very good at his job. It's a very detail-oriented job. He's going to be the one that makes sure that all the fringe benefits are met, that all the payroll stuff on the construction side is being taken care of. There's a wide variety of things that he's more than welcome. If you want to ask him any questions, or if you want to speak to it at all, Mike. It's pretty labor intensive, and it requires a lot of paperwork every week, so that the construction Thieneman gets paid and they pay their guys, and that they're also following all the rules that the state has, and that they're not cutting corners. There's a lot of overtime, fringe benefits, stuff like that. So that's what those two are. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Or if you want to ask Mike any questions, he's here tonight. I want to meet you guys and put a face to the name.
Appreciate it.
All my questions were for Megan.
Oh, Megan. I keep hearing about Megan.
Of course they
We fired her, by the way.
Oh,
Thomas, do you have it to be signed? Because I don't have copies of it.
I have
Do
two
I
co-
need? Okay,
I have 2 copies, one for me, one for you guys.
perfect.
So,
Then I don't
I
need
can
to do
sign
it.
those.
Would we like to make a motion to make Terry our signature for?
I did get one thing signed before Terry before the meeting started, so I don't know if that was
Oh, is that the one?
It's
with
valid.
Cake icing on?
yeah, the cake. I got some icing on it to go too.
Any discussion, council? So what's in front of us is to approve the contract amendment. Anybody like to make that motion?
I do have one question.
Yeah.
How do we come up with the number for the addition to the engineering and the residential project? Is that truly the 4-month addition?
I can get you that breakdown.
What's convenient is it's exactly what we reduced.
No, I think that there were some. I can get you a breakdown of what that cost per month, because we can look at what it was originally and the additional 12 or for the 12 months, and then adding 4 months onto that. It should just be that number just multiplied out. I think that we found a number that we were comfortable with in what we could keep it at a $0 change order and go with that number. If you would like a further breakdown of that.
No, if that's how the math worked out, I'm comfortable with that. To me,
I would say it's highly unlikely that those two numbers were equal at one point, but I think they're probably close enough.
So if you said, okay, there's 176, 586, 42
Yeah.
that this added to, what can we take from this to make it even?
Or if it was the better thought would be if it was 200,000 for RPR for an additional 4 months, you know, and then we get to these change orders and it's 176,500 or whatever it is, and then it's like, are we gonna, you know, come here and, you know, you guys already asked us to see what we could do, you know, right off that X whatever that number is.
Got it.
If
Okay.
you want a full breakdown, I'm happy to get that.
I just wanted to know the thought process how it.
That was what Al had instructed me to say. Is he took it to his board, and hey, I don't own the company.
Yeah.
He took it to his board with whatever that shortfall was. They were comfortable with the number that was presented.
Awesome.
So yeah,
I appreciate it. I know Al wasn't super happy with the request, but it makes sense, and I appreciate him working with us. So that's awesome.
and also if you want us to have Thieneman drive around the building a few times, maybe they can knock it over for you. We can check on that.
There's a great smell over there that they could fix. That'd be great. Chief, he'll hook you up. They'll throw that in. Cool. All right. I will make a motion that we approve Commonwealth Contract Amendment 2025-01 Utility Improvements S22002. And I'm not saying that again.
I'll second
What do you second?
what Chad said.
Wonderful. All right. Any other conversation?
Other than thank you.
Appreciate it.
Tell Megan I.
I wish you guys could see the email between Commonwealth and Terry of how great person Megan is. And I'm just there.
That's what you get for sending her last month.
I was busy. I had other.
That's okay.
Are you suggesting that we, take away Terry's signature rights?
You just hire Megan. I need a job soon.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. All right. Last meeting, we had a conversation about our ordinance related to exotic pets. And we had Mr. Mr. Lewis join us with a situation where he has said exotic pets and wanted us to evaluate and look at our reptile, not really a reptile ordinance, but our ordinance that deals with exotic animals. And so we're going to have a little conversation about that to see where we need to go from here. I will say that Bill was kind enough to join me to go kind of look at said reptiles and other things. And it was quite the experience. I appreciate Mr. Lewis opening his house to us. He is clearly passionate about his hobby and has some critters and other things that slither and scamper. But I think it's fair to take a look at the ordinance that covers this. Right now, my understanding is our ordinance is very generic in that we do not permit exotic animals in town limits. Exotic animals are anything that are not indigenous to the state of Indiana. And so that's a pretty wide category, mind you. Like a lot of the things that you can buy at a pet store, you are not indigenous to Indiana. So we wanted to take a look at that. Ryan, do you want to speak to some of your thoughts related to it since you had some suggestions?
Yeah, I dove into this. Took all my personal feelings out of it. But I did a lot of research on this and found that in the state of Indiana, you can pretty much own anything that you want to own as long as you have the proper permit. There's different classes of animals. As long as you follow the right procedures, you can own a variety of different critters, right, wrong, or indifferent. But I also did research and found that it's such a wide topic when you look at the United States in general. There are several states that really just nix this and don't allow anything, nothing. It's very cut and dry. You can't have anything exotic, any reptiles, anything. And the other half of that is there's lots of states that are very loosely or loose with their ordinances and rules. I tried to find a common ground between the two. I know we have ordinances on dogs and cats, and there's a number associated with that. I rewrote 50.06 subparagraph G. I also added an H, I, J, and K, just to prove that I knew the alphabet. But I kind of dove into this a little bit. I know the ordinance has been in place for some time. I gave each one of the council members a copy of the ordinances that I kind of rewrote. I didn't give Ted one, I don't think, but I have an extra copy here for you. I think this is a good starting point to review what's on the books now and maybe some suggestions that I had. Since we have a number associated with dogs and cats, I thought it's only appropriate that we have a number associated with reptiles as well. So I've addressed several things in here. I've addressed the selling and breeding of these things, the size of them, where they can be kept, if they can be kept, how many can be kept. So I passed out copies to everybody. I would encourage you to read those. It's a good starting point. Make changes to them. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, and this will give us kind of a jumping off point to deal with this in the future. So I'm not going to sit here and read every one of them individually unless you guys want to, but it's a good place to start.
No, I appreciate that. So is it a good enough place to start to give to Ted and have them wordsmith based on this, how it would be applied to our current ordinance?
If everybody agrees what's on here. Like I said, it's a good starting point. You may not agree with the number I put. How did I come up with that number? Process of elimination. We right now in the books we allow like no more than 4 dogs. Otherwise, it's considered a kennel. You can't have a kennel inside town limits. I don't believe without having a permit. So, and I don't think we have any of those on the books that I'm aware of. One,
we do.
Okay,
There are two.
Two.
Animal
Oh, I didn't know friends.
facility
Okay.
and the Niemeyer house.
Okay.
Not joking. I have a kennel permit.
But other than that, I don't feel like reptiles, exotic animals, so on and so forth, are in the same classification as dogs and cats. I did put a number of 6 on there, right, wrong, or indifferent. Had to have somewhere to start from. And I did put a size limit on it. In my opinion, my personal opinion, like I said, taking all feelings out of it, I did put a 6-foot limit on exotic animals and reptiles because, in my opinion, once things get over that size, I believe they probably are a little more dangerous. Again, that's just
A 6-foot arachnid would be pretty dangerous.
that's wicked. I don't care for spiders, and I'm not eliminating the fact that somebody can't own these. We're allowing them to own them because right now they can't. But there has to be a line drawn in the sand somewhere. We do it with dogs and cats. I believe we need to do it here too. And
You're right. I don't think we're comparing. These aren't being compared to dogs and cats. I don't care. If they get 6 feet, they may have said they're not venomous, but they can, what was the word you used? Choke you.
yeah,
I think the word was dangerous.
We have dangerous in language, and so maybe dangerous and able to. I'm looking at the definitions.
Yeah,
Some of
right.
your words here will have to be added also to our definitions.
correct.
And so dangerous, I think, applies. It applies venomous. So I think maybe we could.
Part of the reason I chose the 6-foot limit also was I do know that on alligators, once they get 6 foot or longer,
I thought it was 5.5.
That was 5.5.
Excuse me, 5.5.
Okay.
Once they get that big, you have to apply for a special permit anyway.
Correct.
So It seemed like a good number.
Well,
If DNR feels that way, I feel that way.
my thought is because of that, I would almost look at 5 so that they have that time to relocate and rehome
That's
before
solid
they
point.
have to worry about the DNR piece.
That's a solid point.
And first of all, thank you very much for putting together a draft. I think that's very, very helpful. And I just want to make sure, at least my position, no matter what the number ends up being, I think we need to have a separate provision that says 0 on venomous, whether it's a reptile or spider, or, if it's venomous, it should be 0.
It is.
Well,
0.
actually,
Is it?
Yeah.
in
Well,
subsection G,
It says
Yeah.
0.
So
You
I-
can't have any.
so I did
Well,
massage
unless
subs-
authorized.
Oh.
Well,
For educational
because-
purposes only.
Yeah, so I did look at this, and I knew that Main Street had reindeer in here for the Christmas.
Mhm.
So
Wouldn't
technically, a reindeer is an exotic animal. It's not native to Indiana that I'm aware of, but I did want to give people the opportunity to, if there is like a bird of prey, if somebody wants to bring a hawk in or something for a demonstration purpose or educational purposes, I did want to add that language in here, but I feel like it should be part of the process that if they want to bring one of those specific animals in, that they need to approach, and here's where we need to maybe change some of the language, approach the town council. If somebody's doing the Christmas thing and wants to bring a reindeer in, you apply for permit to do that. Well, part of that permit process would be, are you going to have anything here? And we approve that.
Do they have to apply for a permit?
Main Street typically does apply for a permit, I believe, don't they? No permit to hold Winterfest?
They have to. Well, the food truck. Never mind.
Well, I know that
Sorry, go
that
ahead.
Julie
She
gets
comes in.
insurance and stuff.
I don't know that we approve it
Mhm.
because it's not shutting down the road.
We kind of approve it from a partnership type of thing, if I remember correctly. But the schools have like Silly Safari come in. I've seen another ordinance where it makes a distinction that these are not to be applied to all of the categories of that zoological, those type of educational experiences. So there's a statement at the end of these.
What I
that
don't
identify
want
them.
is somebody classifying their home as an educational.
Well, I think that's
Facility.
yeah. No, I agree with you. And
So
I
that was the language I was afraid of. I seen that language too, but what I don't want is an individual saying, well, I can have this because I have educational sessions here.
right.
I once had a field trip, and therefore I'm an educational facility. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. But it also touches on the fact of selling and breeding. If you're selling animals out of your house, is that a business? Breeding, I imagine one snake's a lot easier to keep track of than X number of babies. They're smaller. I don't know, but these are the things that, again, in housing, I touched on this a little bit. I'm sure if somebody lives in a double or an apartment, I don't feel it's right that somebody would own one of these type of animals in the adjacent property next to them in an apartment building. If it gets loose in an apartment building, that's maybe a bigger issue than a house. I don't know. But again, I added a bunch of stuff in here for you guys to look over, think about it, add language, take out language. We'll give it to Ted as well.
Okay.
See what makes sense. It's a starting point. So,
Thank you for the time you took to do this.
oh, you're welcome. I did add arachnids as well because
Because you put your feelings into it.
really tried not to. But arachnids weren't mentioned anywhere in our previous ordinance.
No, I think that's. a
And
good
it would be
idea.
just a matter of time before that popped up, so we might as well cover it.
Right.
Ted, are you hearing anything that you feel like we need to be considering in this process? Concerning, I guess I should say, other than subject matter.
No, I missed the discussion last meeting, so I need to educate myself on the state of the ordinance. And
Okay.
Ryan's revisions, but I'll look into state law too, see if they have any extra, safeguards or what they need.
So we'll put it back on old business next
Absolutely.
meeting and make sure we come back with some suggestions. So the goal would be to have something we can hand off to legal and that they can wordsmith for us and make sure we're updating appropriately.
Yep.
I do think that in general, what I hear is a somewhat of a discomfort with said like 26 of these reptiles and snakes and things like that. Where we left it with Mr. Lewis was that we extended him to 60 days. So depending on how long this lasts, that may be another thing that we look at to see, if we make revisions to our ordinances that may limit his current collection, then we may want to make sure when this comes into action, like when does it become law for our town, we may want to consider that.
Yeah, the health and welfare of the animals is the biggest concern. So if we do make a decision and the number of animals that he has exceeds that, we do want to make sure that he has enough time to keep the animals' health and welfare in mind and have time to relocate those in the
Right.
Animals' best interest. But
All right. Anything else to add on the reptile discussion?
When you give a copy to us and Ted, would you add Chief? Chief, I'd love to get your input on what you think as well, if you don't mind.
You want to email it out to everybody?
I sure
As a digital
can.
copy.
I sure can. I think I saved it as a PDF, but if not, I've got a copier.
Ryan, did you by chance reach out to Animal Management for any good see what their thoughts might be on it? They already have something in play.
I can stop in there.
Might just ask them. They may already have something set up.
Yep, I can stop in there and talk to them.
It's a good call.
But again, thank you for
Oh, it's all good.
putting together a draft.
So moving forward on our agenda, we have owner's rep proposals, which we have requested and had some conversations concerning them in our administrative session we had earlier tonight. We're not going to make a decision on our owner's rep proposals at this point. We are going to put that on the agenda for our next meeting. Actually, let me back up. We are scheduling an executive meeting on Monday and a special meeting following on Monday. And so really this owner's rep, for those of you who are familiar with some of the projects that we're looking at, is an owner's rep to help represent our town when it comes to our town center project, a vision that would bring, a new town hall and an amphitheater and some park to kind of bridge that gap between this part of town and then what would we maybe call the new part of town off of 600. The field there just west of the Lions Club is that target area that we're looking for when it comes to a town center project, which would include a new town hall, park, and amphitheater, and a few other amenities for our community. We've had, for about the last year and longer, Jim has shared about this vision for what that could look like and what that could bring to our community. And we've been kind of having conversations and thinking through what is the practicality of that. Where we are right now is we do not have an owner's rep, which is a company that the town would be under contract with to help walk us through the process of all the moving pieces with development and financing and all of those pieces to see where it may lie. So that's what we're looking at, realizing that it's probably in the town's best interest to have a representative in those conversations and discussions moving forward, while at the same time, we don't want to sell the whole boat not knowing exactly what may be in front of us. So we're going to be evaluating and interviewing those proposals in an executive session next week and have a special meeting after those interviews to see if we're at a point to approve and accept one of those proposals. So if we accept a proposal on Monday, what we would do is then kind of enter into a contract negotiation time. So Like Monday is not to approve a contract, it's to approve a company to start working on a contract with to represent us moving forward. Am I explaining that correctly, Council? Does that
Nailed
sound
it.
right? I just want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting anything.
Nailed
So that's where we are when it comes to the owner's rep conversation and proposals. We've gotten 3 proposals from companies in, and we're going to be continuing to evaluate that and have an interview with them on Monday. So we're not going to take any action on that, but I wanted to update everyone as to where we are. We don't have anything new for our continued council conversations. In fact, the things that we have on there are kind of already pieced out. Chad's working and helping with some town employee reviews and our staggered council terms. By the way, you had a nice picture in the paper. That was beautiful.
Thank you. I have a weird shaped head, I've been told, but
A little bit, but it's still nice.
good article.
We won't be picking that up until 2026 because that's you do it a year before the election, and so we'll be dealing with that. And there's nothing else that I have. Is there anything else for general council conversations? Okay, fantastic. How about any legal updates?
Nothing to me.
Fantastic. Moving on to department reports. Jim?
I will ask Ted for a legal. Ted, with Mr. Jones on the vacant house, is that something I need to go ahead and request to get a court order to do an inspection on that house? It's my understanding. So I guess if that's something the council wants to, continue, or do we wait till this house falls into foreclosure? Your call.
I don't remember where we left it. I know you were corresponding with Adam and
Yeah.
Ethan on it.
Yep.
What was the final?
We thought we would go ahead and move forward with the inspection, but he trespassed you, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And I don't know what we do with that.
Well, we have to get
Seek
a court order.
Okay. So the question is, do we want to push the subject of seeking a court order to make sure we have eyes on that and the safety of that structure in town limits? Do you have any recommendations on that, Ted?
Well, I think if we're gonna inspect, we definitely go the court order route and not attempt to go back out there without one.
Okay.
I think it would be prudent to pursue that at this time, only because if you don't, you have the potential of an unsafe condition essentially being ignored, and I don't think that that's advisable.
Any other thoughts? So,
I'll get with Adam tomorrow.
Okay.
Get it set up.
So I would actually do a motion to authorize Jim in consultation with legal to do everything necessary to obtain a court order that way. Because it might just be initiation of a simple, request to the judge, but it's still a type of litigation and we need the council approval on.
I'll make a motion that we authorize any and all necessary action in order to obtain a court order to inspect a potentially unsafe building within town limits.
I will second that.
thank you, Bill and Chad. Any further conversation? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
Second, Hancock County Art Society, they reached out. The arts in Greenfield, it's pretty big, you see when you go downtown. So they want to push the arts out into the smaller rural communities such as New Palestine. So I think they're going to set some meetings up in a couple places. They thought maybe, if they could have an art class, maybe in the Shank Room over here, or maybe at the Nichols, or maybe even on Depot Street. This is all very fluid right now, but I think it would be, for the town, it would be nice to kind of entertain the idea of, having the Art Society help us with, a class or something like that. It's really for the whole county, so. And I think they're looking at each municipality.
What's our current policy for the use of those facilities?
The Shank Room, it's kind of limited.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
That was set up in the past as
Yeah.
being police only, but we locked on that. That should be open once a day. We have a schedule on the wall. If it's not signed up to be used, I don't have a problem with anybody using it. I don't
Chamber
think-
uses it.
Chamber uses it a lot, so I don't have a problem with anybody using it. It was just kind of told that that was going to be municipal limits. I don't believe that's right.
Okay.
Use it for what you want to use.
And I think they really shut it down during COVID as well.
Well, and if we suggest to them, maybe they could come up with some renderings for the utility boxes. That'd be great.
We have on that. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're just waiting for print. Or like I said, Depot Street, on a nice day, they can have it out there. So that's just something that was brought up this week.
think it'd be
There
good.
is coming up in February here, a session at the Talent Pathway course there on grant writing. So are you going to that, Ryan?
I talked to Terry about that a little bit today.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Gary and see if I can get out of work on that.
Really, for the cost of it, and
I'm signed up.
I think it's worth, if you guys, I'd still, every once in a while, I'll try to write something. So for the cost, I'm probably going to attend that as well. And then, let me see, I sent an email to Terry today asking for her attendance on the 28th, next Friday. A company called Blue Sky Commerce. It's a marketing company. And the marketing, I'm not so sure of, but the branding, I'd like to engage maybe in a company to help brand New Palestine. We got the town center. We've got a lot of activity and things like that. I think it would be for our behalf to really look at how we would brand New Palestine. So they could do that through the help of the schools, activities, through our summer concerts, but get that ball rolling. And
I think it's a great idea. This is a great time to,
yeah,
like you said, set us apart.
yep. So like I said, the marketing, yeah, that's and they kind of intertwine, but I think if we can brand ourselves and set us apart from some of the other communities, it would be a nice thing to have, either in a magazine or either on our webpage, something put together professionally. And if a company did come to New Palestine, that's something we could present to them and said, hey, here's what we're about. We're about high school football. We're about, Summerfest. We're about town center parks, this, that, and the other. So anyways, that meeting is next Friday. Terry's going to attend.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I have something. Back to the unsafe structure within town limits. Where are we with the house on Larrabee Street? Because that outbuilding is leaning. And
Yes. I'll circle back with her. Yep. Everything that was cleaned up, then the brush and stuff, all that needs to be removed as well.
Okay.
So, and the building.
Yes.
And I don't think it's been sold at this point. Are you familiar? No? Yeah.
And the
I
last
think the
thing,
assumption was the high school was gonna probably pick it up and then take care of it, but I don't think that's happened.
okay. The dumpsters at Fifth Third.
Yeah, they're waiting on weather to set. I think they're gonna put them right there next to the Taco Bell dumpsters.
mhm.
So,
Is there any way that we can, I know we don't have any design standards, but
they do have to be, if it's 2.5 yards or more, they do have to be in an enclosure.
Mhm.
Usually that's a picket fence, some kind of a fencing around it. So
something I read says it has to be within a solid decorative stall.
Yep.
So I just thought,
Yep.
I've been, I have too much free time. I've been investigating dumpsters. I go from the sewer to dumpsters. I don't know. But it was Starbucks. I like the way their stall
Yep.
is, and their doors are nice color.
Starbucks, Taco
Some
Bell's did a nice
doors you
job.
can see through,
Yeah.
and
Jiffy Lube did a nice job on those. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
but they don't keep them closed. Taco Bell doesn't keep them
Yeah.
closed.
Taco Bell has.
I've got a list.
They've got a broken gate. Yeah. They've got a broken gate on
Well, it's been broken for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And when are they going to fix it?
Probably have to send them a letter.
Okay. Susie, you got that? Okay, thanks. That's all I have.
All right. Anything else for Jim? Steve?
I don't have a whole lot, but because I missed last week, I'll just give you a quick update on some things with the street department. And I don't know, maybe I mentioned this meeting before, but the community crossings grant has been submitted successfully. Fingers crossed that we get that funding. I got online and took a stormwater management class through IDM to get that certification. So I got that last week. I've just started doing a sign inventory for the town. There's some HSIP money out there, so it looks like the sign inventory is going to be way more involved than pavement inventory. Yes, because every section of pavement probably has like 10 to 20 signs on it. So we'll keep nipping away at that. And other than that, just been dealing with these little pop-up snow events. Winter operations. They're more nuisance than anything, but half an inch can make the road just as slick or slicker than 4 or 5 inch snow. So, matter of fact, I think when I leave here, we'll be out put some salt down, or I'll be out put some salt down. And, we'll see what comes. But that's about it. If there are any questions.
I do. On my venture out to look at dumpsters, I have that darn basketball goal is back up blocking the ADA ramp at Spruce and East Mill.
Okay, I'll
You've talked to them before.
I talked to the gentleman. He hadn't moved it, but apparently it's been moved back. I guess the next thing would be what, sending him a letter, and then
Susie. Letter.
after that, putting it in the back of the truck, maybe. But I think have sent a letter first, or go through due process on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Horrible time to play basketball
Yes.
outside.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody there.
Anything else for Steve?
That's all.
Chief?
So nothing really to report, but I do have a request from the council. I think I emailed all of you about vehicle. Normally I'm coming to you this time of year to ask for a vehicle towards the end of the year. However, when I was having my conversation with Kelly Chevrolet, 2025s are already allocated. I think state police is coming in and taking over half of them this year. They're changing out their vehicles around us. I was told, though, however, they do have the 2024s, like 3 or 4 of them still on lot, which is exactly our standards, our specs were needed for. They shot you a quote for both the car and the equipment. So we probably just get in about 6-7 months earlier than we normally would. But we won't have to wait for a bill this time, so we can get it right away. Money is in our budget. We did budget this process during the budget hearings. So money's coming out of 2 different appropriations out of the lit we can use, and there's also money in the CCD fund to use these monies. There's $45,000 in one of the appropriations in the lit, $23,000 in the lit for the equipment, and another $30,000 in the CCD fund. So there's more than enough money there to take care of. We are going to take the 2015 Tahoe and try to get that traded in. It's nickel and diming us. It's great. We just got to have an oil change and have something to work out of, but that's about it. So it's time to go. It's got 135,000 plus on it, a lot of hours on it. So they're working on a quote for me to get that back to me to see what kind of trade-in money we'll get. I'm holding my breath. It's going to be a lot of money, but I guess my request is to be able to spend up to the amount they quoted, as well as the equipment, and then if we can get a trade-in value on that, then that number will drop as far as how much we need to spend.
What is it? The 2018 that you're getting a trade in on?
No, 2018 is staying with us.
Okay,
So
that's what I was.
yeah,
That's what I
gonna
was
go from a
confused.
Frontline vehicle back to a full position.
Okay,
So we'll
and
still
it's
have
an
two-
older one that you're looking at trading in.
Yeah, that 2015 one.
2015.
Covered snow that doesn't start. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's been around for 10 years. It's time to go.
Okay. So with the money allocated in our budget, do we need to approve that again or just say,
I just need to give me the okay to do it. I mean, we had budget process and it's already been approved budget, so the monies are there.
yeah.
Ron's not here.
That's what
Yeah, Lon's not here.
Any other requests?
Every session signed.
What about? Did you get a quote for that drone yet?
Oh, I wish.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, it depends on which one you get. You get an Amazon one or you get the big bird.
Yeah.
All right. So if we don't need to make a motion, any concerns with him moving forward with that
I
vehicle?
think we just need to make a motion to allow him to spend up to the, was it 60?
It's 50,000 for the vehicle and then it was like 11,000.
Yeah.
11,071.84.
Yeah, and that was including, that equipment includes all the new radars, computer mounts, and everything. So that,
But just a total amount.
So
We need
there-
to,
You didn't get quotes for this one, right?
We have
This
quotes.
There are quotes, 3 quotes.
There's a quote.
these are the state bids that we're
Okay,
getting.
so it's under the QPA. So authorizing to make a special purchase up to the amount, including trade-in.
yeah, what he said.
Okay. So Ryan makes a motion.
I don't have the exact number.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the vehicle and the package at the proposed quotes of 62,000 plus whatever trade-in will get us.
I'll second that motion.
Any further conversation? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right.
And I will wait till the bond gets here so we
Fair enough.
they will hold the quote.
Can I turn the lights on?
But once it gets installed,
Sweet.
come on, you look.
Can I
Only behind.
can I choose where in the town I turn the lights on?
Your truck.
Fair enough. Anything else, Chief?
Enough said.
All right. Jenny, anything?
got nothing.
Nothing. All right. Moving on to public comments, we create space for 5 minutes on any topic. If anybody would like to share, ask questions, anything else, this is the time. We just invite you to come to the podium and give us your name and address and share your thoughts. Excellent. On to council comments. Terry, you're first on the list.
I think I've said a lot.
You did your comments?
Yeah. I get to sign stuff, so I'm happy.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ryan?
Yeah, I want to wish you a happy birthday,
Thank you.
27th. And I also want to wish good luck to USA in hockey tomorrow night.
All right. Chad?
I'm good.
Bill?
I want to stay along that same theme, and I want to wish good luck to all three of the high school wrestlers who will be competing in the state finals on Saturday, and congratulate them for making it to that level.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's all I have.
Thank you. The only thing I have is that we will have another council chat on Friday the 7th is the next council chat. It's a Friday morning. Anybody want to join me? It'll be somewhere in town. I work too.
I have to check my schedule.
Do you want to do it by those dumpsters just to knock out a couple? we
Fun.
could sit at Starbucks again and you can take care of all of those things.
There you go.
Okay, you let me know.
Pencil me in.
Oh, okay. I'll pencil you.
You had her at dumpsters.
Where?
We can sit at Starbucks. We'll do Starbucks. That way to put you right there where you need to be.
There are a lot of dumpsters in that area.
Other than that, thank you, Terry. Thank you for putting together a cake for me. I appreciate that. Grab a piece of cake, even if you had one ahead of time. Grab another one, because if not, my kids are going to eat them, and that's not a good option for any of us. I promise you. I don't think there's anything else, so I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.